What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update on Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. Break down what's happening with the economic calendar as we have Jerome Powell giving a speech very soon. When he's giving a speech now, this could affect the markets. But before I break you things doubles information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And then don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, we're seeing some very, very interesting price action. Let me just remind everyone that today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the 42-day bill auction and the 52-week bill auction coming out. So there might be some volatility at that time. At 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Williams from the Fed giving a speech. And then at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Jerome Powell also giving his speech. And what he says could be very, very important. When Jerome Powell opens his mouth, the entire market tends to move. So get ready for his speech. Whatever he says could cause some interesting volatility. So make sure you guys are ready for this. We'll see what Jerome Powell says. And what he says could be very, very impactful. As far as Tesla goes, the media is talking about how Tesla has some weakness, but as this weakness perpetuates, we're going to be waiting to see what happens during their next announcements involving the robo-taxi, not to mention earnings coming out very soon. So a lot of analysts are talking about this. They're saying that Tesla has some dark days ahead, but there's still a lot of big bulls out there, such as Dan Ives, not to mention JP Morgan analysts out there who are very, very bullish for the long term. Short term, they're talking about how there could be even more layoffs, supply driven issues for them. Talking about demand and supply issues. Also talking about the fact that robotaxi could be a big winner for them, but for the short term, these analysts are saying that they're still reducing their targets. That's what's happening with Dan Ives and many others out there. Part of why Tesla's underperforming, not to mention the news about the job cuts that Elon Musk announced yesterday, still affecting Tesla to this day. Here are your levels. Basically, we have 157.5 as resistance. If we break through this, we could push up for about 158.5, then 160, very, very tight level. We have support at 155 for Tesla. And if we lose that, we could be sinking down to about 153.8. That's going to be like the previous low to be watching for essentially. Then we have 152 below that. And if we lose 152, we're going to easily fill the gap to 146. So Tesla is looking like it's on a downtrend overall. The chart is more bearish overall, just to be frank with you. But whether or not we can remain bearish could also depend on what Jerome Powell says. So I'm just going to be waiting for a speech at 1:15 p.m. If he launches Tesla higher and we break past this resistance, we're going to be looking for a move to at least 160, approaching our 200 EMA. If he gives us the rug pull, Tesla could start falling all the way down to 152 again. Otherwise, until then, we're just range bound. If you look at Tesla, it's been remaining in this range, trading sideways, very stationary for now. So it might just remain in this range. Excuse me, might just remain in this range for the time being, and then Jerome Powell will end up affecting that. Same thing with SPY. We have this interesting range. We have resistance at this 505 zone and also at 506 flat. We also have support at 503 flat. If we lose that, I'd be watching 502.5, 502, and if that fails us, we could get very close to 500. Overall, SPY is on a slight downtrend. If you look at the overall trend, we've been making lower highs and lower lows consistently in the 5-minute time frame. And there is a risk of SPY dipping a little bit more, but let me just make it clear that we're not really making massive moves. We're kind of choppy in this range. We might remain a little bit choppy until Jerome Powell finally opens his mouth. So we'll wait and see what Jerome Powell has to say. What he says, possibly addressing the current economic situation, uh, possible economic uncertainty and monetary policy. So watch for volatility by the time he starts speaking at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the QQQ is doing the same thing, range bound. Look at the range on the QQQ, right? We have this support at 429, 430. We have resistance at 432. It's been going range bound for quite some time, and we're kind of stuck within this range. So we'll have to see what happens with this. But this is all I'm seeing on the chart thus far. Not really a whole lot. So we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. Once he starts speaking, the market will move. If he causes the market to pump, if he's dovish, 432 is easily coming, 432.6 or even higher. If he causes a rug pull, we could fall all the way down to about 428. So I'm just going to wait and see what Jerome Powell has to say. Apple got a little pop and then a big drop all the way down to 169. We have resistance at 170 and also at the 20 EMA at 170.8. We have support currently at 169. If we lose this, watch 168 and then lower levels. Overall, there's a slight downtrend on Apple, but I just want to call out the possibility of potential change depending on what Jerome Powell says. Same thing with Nvidia. If it breaks 873, you're going to be looking for a push for 877. That's the level I had marked here. Now, if we end up losing support, look at the 200 EMA and 50 EMAs at 867. If we lose that, look for 862, followed by lower levels. If we lose 862, we turn a lot more bearish. We could easily fall to like the 850s, 855, for instance. But overall, we're kind of range bound. So we're going to give Nvidia some time and we'll see how things go from here. Let me just make it very clear, as we're range bound right now, being stuck in this range is going to be very, very interesting. And we're just going to wait and see what Jerome Powell has to say. So that's really all the market's doing. It's kind of just waiting for Powell to start his speech. He's going to be discussing a lot of things with some important governors from the banks of Canada. So that's going to be important. Let me just go over a few more. AMD trying to push a little bit higher, showing some strength, getting a bounce. But we have this resistance at 164, and since then we've been range bound. I do see a bullish wedge potentially forming, so it could push higher towards like 165, a little bit higher. I could see that, but it's not that strong overall. I'm not 100% sure if I'd say it's worth, for me personally, to trade much. I'd prefer to just wait on the sidelines and wait for Jerome Powell. Amazon has a nice resistance right here at 185. Could push a little higher. I could see it push a little higher as we have this imbalance up here. Could push towards 185.5 later on if we get some kind of push and a break thanks to Powell. If we get a rug pull, we're easily going to fall to 182 or below that. So we're just waiting for Powell. And for Meta, it's the same thing essentially. Range bound price action. If Powell gives us the push, we can easily push for 507. If he gives us the rug pull, 497 is coming or lower. So give it some time. Our 10-year treasury yield is once again, it's been on a very, very strong uptrend as of recently as yields are going up. It gapped up and started a very, very slight uptrend, at least for today, but the overall structure is still bullish. So with this happening, this is a bearish signal for the markets. Not to mention the dollar being strong is a little bit more bearish. We're on a slight uptrend of the dollar, at least intraday, so that's a little bearish for the markets. Same thing with the VIX. We're on a slight little uptrend, not super strong, kind of stationary, but if it does push higher, that would be because of the market potentially dropping. The trend is still bullish on the VIX when you zoom out like this. You guys can see it's been uptrending for quite some time. All right, guys. So we're just going to wait for Jerome Powell. We'll see what the guy says. And until then, the market may just remain range bound, especially for Tesla. So we'll see what the big guy has to say. We'll just be very patient for now. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. I might not release another video until after his speech. That way, like I could just spend some time listening to what he has to say and then just give you guys an update on that. But until then, the market may remain very range bound, not as fun for the time being. This is completely normal. Lots of chop does tend to happen during instances like this. So just wait and see, and then we'll see what Jerome Powell says after that, and we'll be very patient. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys very soon in a few hours, and peace out.